from 1957, we have Desk Set, which is kind of a very strange title. It is about an office, and a desk set is like you put your pens and your paper and your paper clips and in a thing on your desk. That's called desk set. But it is here, I think it is meant for the people, this like the jet sets or the society around an office. A specific office, the research office of a completely fictitious. It's not quite sure if it's a radio producer or a news producer. They want information. This desk, this office is providing information. In 1957, by way of 4 lovely ladies who are sitting by telephones going, you wanted to know how tall Mount Everest is. Let me look it up for you. And they go off to the reference library that they have at the back, and they look it up, and then they come back the answer. And if the answer is something more complicated, like, I don't know, there was lots of complicated stories like the stuff that might take research, they sit down and go do the research. There was one research project that took 3 weeks to complete for one of these ladies. So, yeah. Interesting. 57. More interesting is the plot where a gentleman walks into this realm of ladies. The head lady, by the way, is Katharine Hepburn, and this gentleman who walks in very bumblingly is Spencer Tracy. Course. So, it is a Spencer Tracy, Katharine Hepburn movie. So, yeah. He walks in and starts measuring the place and going, what's going on? And there's a lot of shenanigans going on about this, but it's kind of obvious. There is a computer in future. And I have seen this movie like maybe 15 years ago. No, maybe more. Probably more than 15 years ago. But then I saw it again for the review, and it is like the modern problem of AI is happening to us. And what are the people who are doing the job that AI will be doing? What are they going to do now? And it's the same story. It's just in 57. And it's about girls with telephones and reference books and absolutely phenomenal feats of memory. There was just stuff that they didn't have to go look up anymore because they can just quote the pieces of poetry people ask for or the information people ask for straight from the head. The character of Sumner, played by Tracy, is MIT graduate, long time, and a proto information technology gentleman. He makes computers, but then he tries to analyze the desk, the office, the research office, and what they do exactly, because he wants to make it into a computerized possibility. And he sits down with Bunny, the Katharine Hepburn character, and she tests her on cognitive. It's a kind of a cognitive test. It's probably something very, very normal. But the memory this lady has is she memorized everything from just one time, and even trick memorizations of a telephone number that is first one way around and then it's slightly different the second way around, and she gets it right every time. And he's sort of going, wow. And the Bunny character is... All these ladies in that office are a little bit waiting for a guy. It's 1957. They're waiting for a guy. And Bunny has a guy, but he keeps not saying the right words at the right time. And they're doing a little dance for about 7 years now. The character Mike, who is played by Gig Young, he is a boss above her. Something probably in accounting or something of the sort. It's not quite clear, but he keeps he keeps on the one hand stringing her along with a promise of a getaway, and then when a push comes to shove and she's bought the dress and bought the stuff and got her stuff ready to go, he flakes out on her. And then in the one breath he says she's dumb, and then in the other breath or action he gives her the accounts of his entire department to check over so he can hand it into his boss and get his promotion. Oh my god. And this going and like her friends at the desk at the office tell her, this guy is not gonna be good for you. She ain't listening until our Spencer Tracy character walks in, and he's a really he's a weird guy. He's the kind of guy who walks into a wall while doing something else, and he's got a brain the size of a planet, but he has no sense sometimes. They get into all kinds of scrapes together. The movie is from a play, and yeah, it's very scene driven in that way, but that's to all the best ways. It's not as bantery as some of these 30s or 40s plays were, so I think it's a later play, and considering the subject, it's going to be a later play. But it still runs really well, and it makes some interesting observations that are in 57 surprising, because you wouldn't think that in 57 they had any idea about information technology. Basically, this is proto-information technology that they're doing here. And the film and the play is not as smart with it as they... It doesn't quite understand the subject, so they have Spencer Tracy character talk a lot of technobabble that he obviously doesn't understand. They actually don't get the machine up and running, and they ask it the wrong questions because they have no idea. It's actually the questions you would ask an AI, and AI now is not even AI. It's just a language model. We're calling it AI, but it's not. It's not that smart at all. And they are asking it, the 57 computer, the questions we now ask an AI, and try to get some sort of answer that makes any sort of sense. This is a calculator. It's a very, very large calculator, which may have a repository of a database of informations. And yes, you can ask it what is the circumference of the Earth, or what is the weight of the Earth, which was one of the questions they asked the machine. What is the weight of the Earth? That is something it might be able to calculate if it has the information put in the first place, and if somebody gives it an equation to calculate that with. But ask it anything... The stuff that literally the AI now gets wrong, or the previous AI, the next one is better. And it's not even an actual AI yet, so they're way too early for this. And the conclusion of the film, which is not really a spoiler, is... It's kind of a spoiler, sorry. But when it turns out that this computer... they thought it was going to replace all these ladies, and it turned out it wasn't. Basically, no. When you get a technology like that, your jobs are not forfeit. They will change into another job. That computer, that office that had jobs for 4 girls will now have... with an expensive computer, have jobs for 6 or 7 or 8 girls. The output they can have is going to be much better, and they will be able to sell their services to another, because they were just giving this service to, I think, only the office. I don't know, maybe they were giving it to more, but they could do a lot more. And it's not a question of could they do it like with the computer and like 4 girls? No, you need 8 girls to run that computer efficiently. If you do it less than that, then you shouldn't have the computer. That's how these machines work. Film doesn't go into that. Just showcasing this entire situation of a new technology versus an old technology, but what is the old technology worth, which is human memory and books, versus an actual modern, brand spanking modern thing with blinking lights. What is one worth, and what is the other worth, and how do we see that? And this is not that deep on this movie. It's just a comedy. But I thought that was an interesting thing to make. On the looks, it's 1957, which is the absolute summum of that of the 50s dresses. But this is the office, so they're not dressing to go out, they're dressing kind of down. They're dressing properly dressed, but not fancy. Except for then there's the office party, the Christmas party, and so everybody has a little bit more of a dressy. They have more of a dressy moment. It's a very low-key movie in this way. It's set just indoors and just normal people going around to offices. There is a moment where the Spencer Tracy character ends up at her place dripping wet because rain, and he cannot stay in his clothes, so he takes them off and wears a dressing gown but the shoes. So he sticks the shoes in the oven and lights the oven on a low setting, and then forgets, because this guy forgets about them. And putting your shoes in the oven, I think that's a very old-fashioned, no, it's 1957, so fair enough. It's such an old-fashioned thing to do, because now you absolutely no way, Jose. I think he did kill his shoes, by the way. He does walk out on them, but oh my God, this guy. The Spencer Tracy and Katharine Hepburn comedies, the most of them that he did together were comedies. A couple of them were not. Are always delightful, and this one, it's very low key, but it's also very, yeah, I liked it very much. Delightful. So that's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it.